Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of CCW Insider. I am one of your CCW correspondents, Tyler Cashmere, here joined by my CCW broadcast colleague, Axel Rome. He's the man that always gets the questions, but then we got the woman that is everywhere in the wrestling world, any promotion, you name it. She has just made CCW her home. She is at every CCW show, and she has been joining us here on CCW Insider. It is Xenia. When Xenia did that, how are we feeling, guys? We are coming off a huge show from Kumite. Axel, I know you were both there, but Axel, I know you're super excited about that show. It was unbelievable.
It truly was an unbelievable show. I mean, for the very first time, a sold-out crowd. And what I mean first time for a Kumite, but also for one of our CCW training facility, it was a standing room only. I mean, by the end of the show, when you try to get through that door, you were just witnessing the action from that very moment. We had so many fans there in attendance. Thank you to everyone who came out. It was a great show, unbelievable action. I know Xenia got front row seats to some of those matches. Also got to talk to some of the superstars afterwards to get a little bit of what's going through their head after putting their bodies on the line with every single match, being not only inside of a steel cage, but then you had a submission match. You had a kendo stick match. You had so many type of different matches. And we had a 3-round boxing match at the Kumite as well. So there was so much to really unpack and unravel after that. And you can catch all of that on our social media at CCW Live TV, on whether that be on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. But yeah, they're just so much. But moving forward, now we're talking to this week's CCW Insider, which is going to be all about Bash at the Brew. Bash at the Brew 43. And if you haven't heard the news on CCW Online, Unbranded Brewing Company has announced that they will be closing their doors as of August 31st. So we want to thank first Unbranded Brewing Company for allowing us to have 43 consecutive Bash at the Brews in a row, making history for CCW, and they were being part of that history along with us. Tyler, I know you started off at some of these Bash at the Brews from the very first ones as a fan, and then you were able to change that into being part of the CCW family, being part of the commentary team. So you really have been one of the people who've seen the evolution and grow of Bash at the Brew from the very first one to where we are at 43. But that's not going to be all. We may be closing the doors at Bash at the Brew at the Unbranded Brewing Company, but we have two more Bash at the Brews. We have Bash at the Brew 43 this upcoming Saturday, and then at the very last of the month, Bash at the Brew 44 to top it all off, August 31st, that Saturday. So come join us.
It's absolutely, it's emotions are going to be flying throughout this month. Unbranded Brewing has meant so much to CCW. I mean, my first show I went to as a fan was Bash of the Brew 2. I mean, I went years without missing a show. I love the Last Territory so much. I signed up, and it's an honor and privilege for me to be able to call these Bash of the Brew shows. It means so much to me. I know it just means so much to so many people. I mean, so many fans that Bash of the Brew has really changed, and that venue at Unbranded Brewery. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. But you know what? Let's not get down about it. It's going to be a party. We got two Bash at the Brews in 1 month. Xenia, I mean, you have gotten thrown at this as we've been going up. You have been on that roller coaster up. It has been crazy. How has this CCW experience been for you? How has that Bash at the Brew experience been for you?
It's definitely been an absolutely wild ride. You're absolutely right, Tyler. And it's been an honor to be a part of it. And I'm trying, my best to add to the product and to add to the show. But the Bash at the Brew shows definitely have been one of the highlights of the CCW ecosystem. And if I'm not mistaken, the last Bash at the Brew, we had over 1,000 people in the building. It was an absolutely insane crowd. And the way that crowd is also absolutely insane. Every time they go hard for their favorites. They're very, very passionate, and that building was just absolutely buzzing last time we were there. So I'm sure the two of the last shows that we're still going to have at the Unbranded Brewing Company are going to be absolutely electric. And, for the fans out there, this is your last chance to feel the atmosphere of the Unbranded Brewing Company CCW shows. So definitely a can't miss month for CCW fans.
For sure. And when you think about really the names of people who have passed through CCW, but very specifically who have passed through Bash at the Brew. I mean, we've had Camille, we've had people like Real One, right? Exactly. We're talking about big name people coming out. QT Marshall returned after leaving AEW to Bash at the Brew. The very first time that he made an appearance back to wrestling was at a Bash at the Brew, where he made his claim very clear that he was going to be at the top of the CCW division. And look, fast forward a couple months afterwards, now we have him as the CCW World Heavyweight Champion. So you definitely don't want to miss one of these Bash at the Brews, especially these last two ones, because I know we're going to have a great amount of talent come through the doors, a lot of great surprises, banger of matches, but we're also going to have some memorable moments that we're going to want to share and experience with you guys, since we've been doing this for 43, going on 44 consecutive Bash at the Brews in a row, and it's just been quite a ride to experience it really all.
And Axel, speaking of surprises, we got to get this show on the road because we got a huge surprise guest coming in, but first we got to hit that intro.
And CCW Insider has officially started. I know we've been rambling a little bit about some of the things that we are going to miss about being at a branded brewing company, but let's go forward with talking about one of our upcoming guests. I'm personally excited. Now, you may be asking, why is CCW Insider on a Tuesday instead of our regular Wednesday screening? Well, it's because we needed to have this guest hands down, so we made it available for him to come join us. Tyler, I'm going to let you continue the introduction. Continue, my friend.
We moved the whole damn show for him because he is so damn big. He demanded it. We made it happen for him. He is your Southeastern champion. He's the most damn dominant Southeastern champion we have seen, undefeated, over 570 days with that championship, it and counting. And he is looking to continue that. He looks like he was molded by the Bulgarian gods themselves. He is the Bulgarian Punisher. He's the one and only Meadow. Meadow, thank you for joining us.
That was a hell of an introduction.
Hey, trying my best. Hey, with a guy like you, hey, one of my first specialty commentary partners. I still remember that breakout, unbelievable commentary by Meadow. The guy really can do it all.
You know, I made you relevant.
Yes, you did. You put me on the map, brother. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I like that. I'm not gonna lie. You're speaking straight facts.
Of course.
Well, first and foremost, Meadow, thank you so much for joining us.
Limited time, so don't waste it.
Precious time. So let's get just down to it. Meadow, you've been champion for exactly 571 days. You are the fourth longest reigning CCW Southeastern champion in CCW history. You're very close to achieving that third and second and even first spot. But let's just bring it back to a little bit of what you and I have been talking about as of late, especially when we do. Okay.
I'm gonna achieve that too. You said I'm very close. How close?
Well, you're close to outbeating that third spot. That third spot being at 608 days right now, as it stands, or 602 days.
About the first spot, how long?
The first spot is at 728 days, and that's held.
We're gonna talk again at 720.
720. We will talk at 720, and that's what I want to talk about, the confidence that you really exude when you head out to these matches. I mean, when looking at some of the people that you've defeated in some of these open challenges that you've had, the list, I mean, you go from Cha-Cha Charlie, Chris Farrow, you've defeated Hardcore Horvath, Alan Suez Martinez, Jackal Stevens, Lakai, Ozzy Killmeister, Ariel Levy, Jay Vidal, Ariel Dominguez, and even when you won the Southeastern Championship from Alex Chamberlain. So really, what's there for you to prove if we want to continue elaborating on that point?
Just like Jody Cinto said, no one can beat him. What's there for me to prove? I'm just having fun. I'm having the time of my life, man. Like, I'm here to make a statement, and I think I'm making it, right? And if some damn rookie like Domino has something to say about it, come say it to my face. You saw what happened.
And indeed, what Meadow may be referencing is the actions that happened at Kumite. Xenia, if you could just elaborate a little bit of what really unfolded in that first blood match at Kumite, and any questions that you may have to Meadow regarding Domino and where that may be heading.
Yes, at Kumite we saw a first blood match, and we had a bit of a strange finish where at first Domino was proclaimed the new champion, and then the referees noticed their mistake, and rightfully Meto has defended his championship. But it looks like Domino is not quite done with this. He got a very passionate promo that you can see on the CCW Instagram page, and it seems like this rivalry he lit the fire in Domino, and he's different now. He's more aggressive now, and it looks like he's going to try to come for your title, Meto, again. How do you feel about that? And are you willing to give him a rematch? Are you ready for whatever Domino is trying to come at you with?
Has he earned a rematch? We don't hang out things where I'm coming from. We earn things, and if Domino wants a rematch, like if he earns the rematch, I'd be more than happy to beat his ass again. Like, hell of a competitor. He took me almost to my limits. Like, he won by mistake. And then you saw what happened to the referee. Like, I made him ease his words too, you know? As far as Domino goes, like, I want to see that dark Domino that everybody's talking about. Like, bring it on. Like, who are you, the demon? Bring it on. Like, I can't wait to see it. I want the toughest and the meanest opponents that I can get, okay? Like, if that happens to be Dark Domino, like, bring him in. Like, I want to see that darkness. Like, I'm coming from that darkness. Like, let's see what you got.
Well, the comments are going off right now. If we could just, Tyler, just some of the ones that we've been seeing. Yeah, Domino's in the comments and just
comments. Of course, it's in the comments. But can he do it face to face? Ah, man, like, these people can comment all they want.
Hey, we have to make sure Domino doesn't hijack the show again. I don't know what happened last week. He jumped in the middle of the show.
Domino is in the past. If he earns an opportunity, I'd be more than happy to go against him again. A tough opponent. I'll give him that. Like, my head still hurts from the steel chair, but as you can see, it didn't make me bleed. Like, my nose hurts too a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay. I gave it back to him. I'm more focused on what's next. What's ahead of me? What's ahead of me? Main event monster. Main event monster. There you go. You show it on the screen. I'm the main event monster. You're just a guy. It's okay. Bring it on. I want the biggest and the toughest challenges that you can give me. Like, if that happens to be main event monster, hell of an opponent. He's been everywhere. He deserves the moniker of main event monster. I want to go against you. I want to go against anybody who steps in my way. Like, it makes no damn difference to me. Like, just bring them all. Like, bring the whole SWAT team. Like, it's okay. Like, I'll go against them too.
Well, Meto, if I can just bring it back real quick. You mentioned, what has Domino really done to really earn another rematch? With knowing that Domino is hearing this, what would it take in order for Domino? What would it take for Domino to earn another match for your CC Southeastern Championship? What would you have to do in order to earn that number one contendership again?
Keep running your mouth and keep pissing me off. That might win you an ass whooping.
Yeah, now that you have the main event monster Fulton as your next opponent, like you mentioned, he's not to be taken any lightly. He has a lot of experience all over the world, and he is very athletic wrestler. The size advantage might be on his side, which for you, I'm sure, is unusual, because you yourself are very athletic and very muscular and toned and fit. Where is your mind right now? What's your strategy going into this match with main event monster?
Lightly. Like, I'm here, I'm busting my ass every day at the gym, at the training facility, everywhere I go. Like, I'm trying to be the best. I'm trying to be number one. I'm trying to be the measuring stick around here. I damn sure not taking anyone lightly. Like, I take them all as serious as it is. Like, whoever that is. Like, I take them this is the biggest match of my life, because every next match is the biggest match of my life. Like, whoever that is. Like, I'm here to prove to myself mainly that I'm number one. Like, and I'm damn sure not taking anyone lightly. Yeah, he has this 6'9", like 280 pounds. That's okay. Like, I want to go against you. Like, let's see how it goes, you know?
And the only way to find out how that match is really going to go is by getting your tickets online at CC Wrestling FL. .com so you can be at Bash at the Brew 43, one of the last few bashes that we're going to be having at Unbranded Brewing Company. So if you're going to want to see this clash of two titans go down between Main Event Monster Fulton and Meadow, who's been on quite a streak as of late. And when I say that, I just don't mean as a CC Southeastern champion. Meadow, it's really to my knowledge, and we've talked about this, that you're not only undefeated here in CCW, but you're really undefeated since you started your wrestling career.
There you go. I've been putting the work.
So talk to the fans a little bit more about that. How long have you been undefeated for?
3.5 years. That's a hell of a record.
That is
unbelievable.
And 571 of those days are as CCW Southeastern champion. I mean, I always ask myself, what's next for Meadow? But Meadow always seems to have an answer for that. Anything else that you'd like to get off your chest while we have you here, champ?
I have an answer for everything because I never, like I said in that interview that we did, I never go alone. I always go with God. That makes me unbeatable. Even if somebody's lucky enough to pull out a quick one, I'm still unbeatable because I have God by my side. Win, lose, or draw, like I'm never going to come out as a loser because I have a very strong faith. Keep them coming. You have another question?
Hey, I got a question. I got a question for Meadow because, we've been talking about the future. We always ask what's next for Meadow. What's next for Meadow? Meadow, I have to ask you, if you get past this Saturday, which I know you think confidently, confidently you will get through this Saturday. And if I'm a betting man, I got to put my money on Meadow, just throwing it out there. You don't bet against a guy that's been undefeated for 571 days. But I got to ask, where does the point come where, hey, that other shoulder looks a little lonely? We got a guy, QT Marshall, as heavyweight champion. When does Meadow think, hey, I've been here every month? Yeah, and look, he's laughing because he knows about it. He thinks about this. I've been here every month defending, whether people love me or hate me. I go through everybody. Meadow, does that interest you? Does maybe that double champion match, you against QT Marshall? Hey, let me tell you something. Wherever it happens, make sure I'm sitting front row so I can call that one because I want to see that. I think if you get through this Saturday, I know that's something that interests me.
When I get through this Saturday.
When you get through this Saturday. Is that something that interests you, QT Marshall, or do you really want to focus on your Southeastern Championship first?
What do you think? How about this? Let the people decide.
Hey.
I'm the people, right? Let the people decide. I'm just kidding, man. People. Of course it's interesting me. Everything interests me. But I'll be dope.
Hey, we'll have to see. I mean, that's something I can't wait for. But this Saturday, you can't look through the main event monster. I can't wait for that match. You guys are going to tear the roof down. Meadow is ready for anyone, it seems like, because any open challenge, anything, Meadow just seems to run through them. That's my question, guys. I don't know if you have anything else for the Bulgarian Punisher.
Anybody? It's a limited time.
I think we're good. I think we're going to let you.
I know you have a question. You always have a question.
I always have a question, Meadow, but I think I've got my fair share of questions out.
You're not even better. I'll answer your question.
I mean, I think Meadow is just so decisive and so sure, which is a very fair thing to be when you've been undefeated for 3.5 years. And, we're just excited to see the match with the main event monster. And I think you've convinced us. I think we're all definitely placing bets on you, and the chat seems to agree.
I'm excited too. I love wrestling. This is my whole life right here.
Well, thank you so much, Meadow.
Where I'm leaving.
Everybody's speechless.
I gotta say thank you, Meadow, for your time. I know that you're busy. We could hear the training going on back there. You are obviously at the CCW training facility, just continuing to step up your game, or really just improving your game, or however you'd like to see it. I know you've been killing it here as of late. We're going to see a lot more from you.
Somebody said Meadow versus Axel, and you're kind of poking me right now. So who do we have to talk to get this thing going on?
I don't think we have to talk to anyone about that. I don't
Nope.
think we have to talk to anyone in particular
Axel,
about
you know
that.
I think highly of you, but in this match, I think it's pretty obvious who the favorite is.
Yes.
Okay. I'm out. God bless everybody.
And Meadow is gone. What an interview. What a champion. 571-day streak. It could be broken at Bash at the Brew 43. And speaking of Bash at the Brew 43, it is a stat card, and we're all going to break it down for you. But before we do that, we got to go to a little bit of a commercial break.
Attention wrestling fans, the place to be each and every Tuesday is on the Coastal Championship Wrestling YouTube channel, where a new episode of CCW Alive Wrestling drops at 7 p.m. Witness the hard-hitting, high-flying action that is synonymous with the longest-running independent wrestling promotion in the southeastern United States. Subscribe today and don't you dare miss it.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know for the first time in a while, CCW Insider is premiering on a Tuesday, so we are competing technically with what you're missing out on CCW's YouTube page, which is that epic CCW Tag Team Championship match between the Crown and the Night Riders that we experienced all last Bash at the Brew 42. Now, I don't want to dive too deep into it because I'm still very heartbroken as to what transpired after the match with the Night Riders, but definitely something that you want to check out after this show on your leisure, at your own time, at your own convenience. You can do that by checking out CC Wrestling, Alive Wrestling on YouTube. Okay. To the good doctor.
The good doctor. Are you stalking the good doctor, Axel? What is going on?
The good doctor believes that I'm stalking. I just think that I'm a very good journalist when it comes down to it. And if I need to get the inside scoop to someone, I will go maybe to some links to get that answer that people are asking.
Hey, you
Axel
get the
seems
scoops.
to be gaining some enemies tonight.
I seem to be just getting a lot of enemies, that's believe. But you know what? I get the job done for the fans, which want to get all that knowledge that goes down after the matches. Whether some people view it as stalking, I view it as doing the justice for the people, right? Being the voice for the voiceless. That is the job of the journalist, to be that fourth estate. So that's what I'm providing here. So to the good doctor, work with me, work with you.
What a way to put it. So we got Bash at the Brew 43 up on deck. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to plug it one last time. CCW Alive Wrestling every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We are a little bit counter-programming them, but what's great is that both Insider and Alive will be up on YouTube. You can watch either one at any time. Watch both of them. They're both great. That tag team match.
One after the other, maybe first Insider and then Alive, or maybe the other way around.
Yeah,
it's your choice.
exactly.
There's not really a third choice. Just both
And
or
that's-
both, you know?
That's great about the last territory. There's choices for everybody. There's a little bit of something for anybody. And that match was just unbelievable. You got to stick around for the ending of that match. Just heartbreaking, mind-blowing. But we can't stick on the past a little bit too much. We got to look towards the future. I feel like that's the theme of this show. We got to look towards the future because it is Bash at the Brew 43. We are starting that double header of Bash at the Brew this month in August, this Saturday. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Bash at the Brew 43 is stacked. Let's go into the first match. We got Domino versus James Tapia. The Raw Dogs are back at Bash at the Brew. They're sending out the meanest dog, the most aggressive one, James Tapia, out there against Domino, who has been building up a mean streak. You got to think Domino's pissed off. We saw him in the comments here. He is upset about what transpired at Kumite. He wants another shot at Meadow, but he's got to start back at the beginning. You got to pick up wins first. And what a challenge it's going to be when he's got to go against James Tapia, a damn technical wizard of sorts in that ring. Once he locks in that stretch muffler, good luck to Domino. Axel, what do you think about this match?
I mean, I just think that there's going to be a lot riding on this match for Domino, especially coming after such a devastating loss where just for a split moment, even I was convinced. I believe that we had crowned a new Southeastern champion. So I know from talking to Domino after the match, like Xenia pointed out, there is a new fire lit in Domino. He he may be bringing that dark Domino that we saw in that tag team match against the 5-Star Era when he teamed up with Gangrel. We may not know what kind of Domino we're going to be seeing, but we are going to be seeing a newly motivated Domino after being so close to winning his first championship gold here in CCW. And it looks like James Choppy is going to be that unfortunate person that has to step inside the ring with Domino following that Kumite experience for him.
Yeah, I mean, you have to keep in mind James Tapia going in here. You have to think fresher than Domino. I mean, Domino just surviving that brutal first blood at the Kumite in that cage match. But the leader of the domination is going to be in full force. You know, this crowd is going to be insane. Everybody knows these are the last Bash of the Brews. It's time to bring the A game. If you're supporting your guy, like we know the domination is, you know, everyone's going to be in their green bandanas, pots and pans, going to be screaming for Domino. James Tapia, he may be a 305 boy, but he's going to be in enemy territory Saturday night. Can't wait for it. Let's get on to our next match. We got a huge CCW Women's Championship rematch from Rumble in the Jungle 6. Ruthie J taking on Carolina Cruz, the Hialeah Savage. Hey, talk about some Hialeah hometown advantages. Ruthie J got the win over Carolina Cruz, but a little bit of, not a little bit. It was a layup. It was a layup by Nikki Blackheart. Xenia, you were there. Tell us more about what happened, what you think is going to happen at Bash at the Brew.
Yes, Ruthie J did win in Doral and did defend her women's championship. But like you pointed out, there might have been a little bit or a lot of it of interference from the enforcer, Nikki Blackheart. And Nikki Blackheart herself has been an absolute force in the CCW women's division. We saw her brutal submission match at Kumite with NVIDIA. And Nikki just absolutely decimated her opponent in that match. And she's definitely a game changer for Ruthie J. But, a champion ultimately is a person in themselves, and ultimately they have to be able to hold their own without any interference. Will it happen in this match? We don't know, but we also know that Carolina Cruz now knows that it's a problem that she has to deal with. So I would think she's coming into this match more prepared. And if anything, Carolina Cruz as a competitor is absolutely brilliant. Ever since she's been in CCW, she's had a couple of very decisive victories, and she's an absolutely brilliant in-ring performer. So I don't think she's lacking anything in that department. It's more so the unequal power distribution situation that she will have to deal with, but I'm sure she has something up her sleeve this time.
Yeah, and now you got to think the Hialeah Savage, Carolina Cruz, she is going in here pissed off. She has motives now. I mean, the first match was just, hey, I got a couple wins. I am new here, but I can pull up this upset. But now it's like, hold on. Now they're using Nikki Blackheart against me. It's 2-on-1. Ruthie J talking trash the whole time. This now is starting to get a little bit personal, a little bit motivation for Carolina Cruz, but will those emotions get the better of her? Ruthie J loves playing with her opponent's emotions in that ring. We have seen her do it time and time again. That's why she is so successful as CCW Women's Champion, and you got to love where this women's division is going. It is just big match after big match, and it just keeps on continuing at Bash of the Brew 43. And speaking of big matches, this Bash of the Brew has some crazy tag team matches. So let's just get into this one. Task Force versus Stallion Rogers and Danny Briggs. My mind is blown. This is one of those matches where you never really thought about it, but then you see it and you're like, wow, this is just going to be amazing. You got Task Force, who are so hot right now in the tag team division. They can fly around. They're walking away from a win at Kumite. They have such a high pace, different, unique offense. And then you got Stallion Rogers and Danny Briggs, two guys that are not afraid to throw it down, guys that we have referred to as you don't want to see in a bar fight. If you're getting a bar fight, you don't want to see those two guys across from you. They are some of the heaviest hitters in CCW. This is what makes the last territory so great, because we get to see these styles clash. Axel, who is going to be on top at Bash of the Brew 43?
Well, coming off of such a momentous win against the 5-Star Era at Kumite, I mean, whenever I hear Task Force being on the card for CCW, it really reinforces the last match at Kumite, really reinforced why I get excited whenever Task Force will be part of the CCW roster. And I just think that they have so much momentum right now going forward after a win a decisive win against ERA and Ricky Martinez, that even though we know that Danny Briggs and Stanley Rogers are two hard-hitting guys, I personally think the Task Force is one of the teams that can actually stand toe-to-toe with such a dominant, powerful team, because just the display that they had this past weekend, and it's a you had to be there moment in order to witness what Task Force was able to do inside that steel cage, from Mikey Spandex jumping from the top of the cage at Kumite onto his opponents, and even his own partner, DMC. Just so much crazy things that Task Force is able to pull out of their repertoire, that have in their maneuver, that they could just whip out of nowhere, that maybe we haven't even seen here in CCW, because they're still a little bit new to our division. But whenever I know that they are here, they're going to impress the fans. They're going to impress everyone there. They left me speechless. And so I think that this is going to be a very fair, even match between Stanley Rogers, Danny Briggs, and Task Force. But my vote is going to go for Task Force this time.
Well, Axel, I got to disagree with you there, because when Danny Briggs and Stanley Rogers are in the ring, nothing is fair. They will use
true.
anything against you, bend all the rules. Task Force is going to have to bring their A game, have eyes on the back of their head, because you never know with Stanley Rogers and Danny Briggs. This seems like two tag teams in that tag team division that are on a collision course. They're both on that high. They're going to go to battle at Bash of the Brew 43. And you got to look at this next tag team match.
And,
it goes hand in hand with the
Axel
one.
was talking about the coming off of a win, but one half of Danny Briggs and Stanley Rogers is also coming off of a big win at Kumite, so you never know what's going to happen.
That is very true. I mean, it just goes to talk about like just the both teams just are on a roll, and we're going to see one team's got to get knocked off here, and whoever team continues are going to have their eyes squarely on this match, because it's the crown, the CCW Tag Team Champions putting up that gold against the 5-Star Era. Now, the 5-Star Era coming off some losses, but they are still that 5-Star Era. They are still Ricky Martinez, ERA, over 20 years of experience on both these guys. I mean, going up against the Crown, who almost seem unbeatable at points, but we have seen the Crown. You could see the episode on live. They've been pushed to the limits. I mean, the Night Riders pushed the Crown to where, like, there was times where I was like, oh, we have new tag team champions, but somehow the Crown always find a way, whether that's that brotherhood or just that experience of just being at the top of the mountain so long. But the 5-Star Era, they crave it. They want that gold. Xenia, what do you think about this one?
This is definitely a tough one to pick someone in, because 5-Star Era might have lost at Kumite in the Escape the Cage match, but if you were to ask them, they wouldn't quite agree with that statement, because it was a bit of a controversial finish. We're maybe not quite sure whose feet hit the floor first. The refs ruled that Task Force picked up a win that match. And here in CCW, we respect the refs and we respect their decisions, and we believe they're qualified enough to make those decisions. However, the 5-Star Era were definitely frustrated after that match, and they still think that they were the winners. So I wouldn't really expect their spirits to be down after that show. If anything, maybe that frustration will fuel them for that match and will prompt them to try even harder to prove themselves. However, like you said, our tag team champions have been an absolute force, and I think I've talked about it before, how they're an absolute complete package. They have an absolutely intimidating aura about them. Just their entrance is also an asset and a tool, because I cannot imagine being in that squared circle, watching that entrance, knowing that you're going to have to step in the ring with these guys, and that they're gonna direct all of their aggression and all of their force onto you. That must be absolutely terrifying. So it's definitely something to behold for 5-Star Era. So in terms of the energies, in terms of the spirits, I would say this is somewhat of an equal match, but it's hard to not lean towards the reigning champions, because they've been absolutely dominant.
It's absolutely hard not to lean towards them every time. Like you said, the aura that they have, when the crown comes out, the whole crowd changes. It's like, all right, it is time. These are our champions. These are our guys coming out here to make a statement. And I love this about this card, all of these matches. Not to say, because sometimes on some of the cards, you see matches, you go, hey, this guy doesn't have that much experience. This guy has an experience edge, size advantage. this whole card is like, I mean, flip a coin. It can be anyone's match. I love it about Bash the Brew 43, the Crown versus the 5-star era. I mean, man, I just can't wait for it. Those two teams, you just know how badly they want it, and they're going to go to war for it. It's going to be unbelievable. And speaking unbelievable, let's go to some singles action as the franchise of CCW. Some people call him the Golden Goose. Cha-Cha Charlie takes on Sean Maluta. Axel, you have been seeing more and more of Sean Maluta. He has been returning to CCW back up north. Now he's coming down south, Bash of the Brew. And he said he wants to make a ruckus here in the last territory. Well, here you go. Here's the perfect opportunity. You got Cha-Cha Charlie at Bash of the Brew 43, one of our biggest Bash of the Brews, and you can upset Cha-Cha in front of that hometown crowd. You can create that big of a ruckus, but as we say, easier said than done. Axel, tell us more about this one.
So Sean Maluta, no stranger to here to CCW. We've seen him come and go in the past, but he definitely talked about raising ruckus a couple months back at Kissimmee. He returned to CCW, and he made a statement very clear that he was back here to CCW to remind folks who Sean Maluta is. And I think we're going to be having that reminder once again here at Bash of the Brew against Cha-Cha Charlie. Now, if I were Cha-Cha, yes, we always know that Cha-Cha is put into positions or in matches with opponents that it's always going to be that even fair. Anyone can go for that match. But if I were Cha-Cha this time, I would maybe take a bit more of a different strategy, knowing that Sean Maluta is going to be coming at you with no remorse, all steam, going at you because he knows if I'm going to be back here at CCW, I'm going to make a name for myself by being the franchise of CCW. And that's Cha-Cha Charlie. And I know Cha-Cha's been on a winning streak as of late himself. And so you never want to lose that momentum because you never know what that could lead to for Cha-Cha Charlie. So Sean Maluta now coming in, it's just going to maybe throw a wrench into whatever Cha-Cha's plan is. Something that I always want to get in touch with Cha-Cha. Never really get that one-on-one moment with him, but it's going to be very interesting what is going to be his strategy going into this match against Sean, and what Sean really going to be planning to do after this win if he is able to take that victory this upcoming Saturday.
Sean Maluta gets the win this Saturday, Axel. He can, I mean, I feel like he can call out almost anyone. We could see Sean Maluta against Meadow. He can call out QT if he's feeling really crazy. He could call out Meadow, QT. But again, this is the franchise of CCW. And I mean, he is on a roll. He just goes in there and he just turns it to another gear when he gets into these big singles matches. When he gets in there against guys who want to take his spot, he goes, okay, you better pack your lunch because I am the franchise and we are going to go that distance and I'm just going to outwork you and I'm going to get the 1, 2, 3 at the end of the night. But don't count Maluta out. We're talking about a guy with 20 years of experience, a guy that has been in WWE, has killed it in the 205 division, guy that's worked against people like Kota Ibushi, a guy that's been in AEW, been everywhere. Now he is here in the last territory to prove himself, to try to become the franchise. But Cha-Cha Charlie not going down without a fight at Bash of the Brew 43. And let's talk about this next insanity of tag team matches. If the card couldn't get bigger, we got a 6-man tag coming up as South American Alliance. That's the team of Alan, S2S Martinez, Ariel Levy, and the Brazilian Destroyer Vinicius taking on this new formed faction of sorts with the Heavenly Butterflies and Hardcore Harvath, who have all come together, it seems, because they've all been trained by Matt Sydal. They've all rode the same roads. They're like, hey, we're all here in the last territory. Let's cause some noise. Let's cause some disruption. And they're going after the South American Alliance. Xenia, again, coming right off of Rumble the Jungle 6. They had a brawl. We had to pull them out. That challenge got laid out. Which team do you think's got the advantage going into Bash of the Brew 43 in this huge 6-man tag match?
Not to sound like a broken record, but it's extremely hard to tell. It's extremely hard to pick. Tyler, you're so right that in this show, everything just seems to have gone to a point where it's so intense and so equal in how badly all these competitors want it and how badly everyone wants to prove that they're the man. That it's extremely difficult to tell. The South American Alliance have been an absolute firecracker in the CCW tag team division, and their speed, their tempo, their energy, their just the sheer force with which they enter their matches has been absolutely incredible. But also, like you mentioned, we have this freshly formed alliance of Heavenly Butterflies and Hardcore Horvat. Like you mentioned, the same background, both trained by Matt Seidel in the legendary Sai Dojo. I respect Matt Seidel a lot, and I think he really, really knows what he's doing. I've had the honor to do like a thorough sit-down interview with him and talk about his approach to wrestling training and wrestling on the whole. And I know that that man sleeps, eats, and lives on the mats, and that's exactly what he teaches the people that he trains. Those are wrestlers with a capital W who just live and breathe the grapple. And maybe with Heavenly Butterflies aligning themselves with Hardcore Horvath, this is the instance where, 1-on-1 equals 3, or 2-on-1 equals 4, I guess, in this instance. So maybe Hardcore Horvath is going to be that missing puzzle piece that would help the Heavenly Butterflies really establish their dominance in the CCW Tag Team division. So definitely hard to tell, but if I were to guess, I would kind of maybe bet on Hardcore Horvath tipping that scale towards that team.
Wow, that is a big pick. And listen, you see Hardcore Horvath, you see the Heavenly Butterflies, you don't think they would go together.
Right.
But then when you see them all three together, it's like, wait, they got something here. This could be a very dangerous group. They got a lot of potential. You got the eccentric Heavenly Butterflies. You got the heavy and Hardcore Horvath, who has really been making a statement in the last couple of months, ever since coming to the last territory. This is a new group on the scene that can really cause some trouble, that, really can make a statement. But they are going against the South American Alliance in the second to last Bash at the Brew. And when I think Bash at the Brew, I think of South American Alliance. I think it's going to be a rough night for the Butterflies. It's going to be a rough night for Hardcore Horvath, because when South American Alliance gets out there and they hear that crowd going absolutely insane from them, when they hear the I chants, the Si Se Puede chants, the Levy chants, when fans bring the whistles in honor of Fonzie, if somehow Fonzie can get there with a broken freaking neck, it is over for the Heavenly Butterflies. I hate to be that guy, but it's just bad timing. It really is, because the South American Alliance, they breathe in that unbranded brewery and they become different animals out there when they hear that crowd. I think this goes to South American Alliance, but I've been wrong before. It's going to be unbelievable either way. And now we got to go to the main event. We talked about it earlier. It's the Southeastern champion Meadow taking on the main event monster Sawyer Fulton. And this is going to be two heavyweights clashing it out. I can't wait. Man, main event monster living up to the moniker, isn't he? I mean, he has been making a statement in the last territory. Axel, who's your pick? We'll do round table on this one.
Well, for this one, I just have to really think about the condition that Madman Fulton could be in after that Kanto death match against Stallion Rogers at Kumite, because if you were there, you would have known that Stallion, even though main event monster is this monster in his own right, Stallion Rogers really pushed him to his limit, and it was just a brutality of a match. So to say that main event Fulton is at full capacity or at 100% is an understatement, because you know that he is hurting. You know that he is maybe not at nearly even 80% after that match with Stallion Rogers. So it's really hard for me to say that I can go behind Madman Fulton and believe that maybe we can walk away with a new Southeastern champion. But I mean, just talking to Meadow, I mean, he's also banged up from Kumite going against Domino, but he's back at the CCW training facility training right now. I'm not sure what Fulton is doing. He's most likely doing the exact same thing. But in aspects of who got it worse this past weekend, Fulton, my man, he's a strong one, but he took a beating from Stallion Rogers, and I don't think that there's really any coming back from that. But anything can happen here in wrestling. So will he give Meadow a challenge? Yes, he will. But what will happen? It's just very hard for me to tell. So I'm going to use my one card for this match.
Don't do it.
For this
Don't
show
do it.
and say that I hope these two gentlemen have a great time out there, because I know that they're going to tear the roof down at Dash at the Brew 43. The crowd is going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. You guys are going to lose it. And that's all that I have to say about this.
It's Meadow and Fulton. They're not going to have a great time. They're going to tear each other apart.
Oh yeah,
So,
they're definitely not going to
I
have fun.
should say the fans are going to have a great time.
Oh yeah,
The fans are going to have a great time watching these two Goliaths just go inside the ring and tear each other down for that Southeastern Championship. Maybe they won't have as good as a time that I'm projecting, but I just hope that they have at least a fun time in the ring.
It's going to tear the house down for sure. Xenia, who do you think has the advantage in this one? Who do you think walks away Southeastern champion?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, one thing I know for sure is they're definitely not gonna have fun. They're definitely not gonna be have fun. Be safe is not for this match. These two men are going to attempt to unalive each other. That's what's going to happen in that ring. After talking to Meadows, especially, he seems very determined and he seems in very good shape. And again, undefeated, not just in CCW, but in his whole entire pro wrestling career, pretty much. That's very impressive. That's something that we definitely have to consider, that Fulton has to consider. And not to undermine any other injuries, but Fulton did get choked out by Stellan Rogers at Kumite. And unlike any other injury, that kills your brain cells, man. That's a serious thing to go through, and to have to go into such a serious hard-hitting match less than a week, or a week exactly, right? Or a week exactly after that match, it's definitely a challenge. But then again, with Fulton, it almost feels like he's this mythical creature and he's not just a man. And it's not like something that would destroy a mortal would in any way harm him or stop him on his way of destruction. The way I see it, whenever I see Fulton wrestle, it almost feels like he's this giant among men who is nearly invincible. We saw him jump off the cage at Game of War. We saw him recently lose his PRCW title in a very devastating match and get injured. And I was there, and it seemed like he was just completely a shell of a man, and yet he got up again less than a week after that and continued his road of destruction. So I might have to lean towards Fulton, and I'm only saying that because Meto is not on the stream anymore. But it's tough, man. I don't know. I just hope, I'm not going to go the have fun, be safe route, but I hope everyone walks out alive out of this match. That's the ultimate goal.
Yes, that is definitely the ultimate goal. We had I hope everyone has fun. We've had a main event monster pick, and main event monster did win the CCW War Games. And yeah, it was definitely impressive flying off that cage. I mean, my pick has been going back and forth all day, listening to Meadow, listening to Axel, listening to Xenia. But at the end of the day, I think main event monster definitely in a singles match is the biggest threat that Meadow is going to have to face. That's physically and mentally and experience-wise. We're talking about the main event monster, Fulton. He has experience in WWE. He has experience in Impact. But who has been holding it down the whole time here in the last territory? That is the Bulgarian Punisher, 571-day streak. You can't bet against him. Give me Meadow. And one thing I can guarantee is they're going to tear the house down. I can guarantee this is going to go down the history books as one of the greatest Bash at the Brews. We're going to be back. It is going to be a big celebration. This whole month is unbelievably stacked. We still have Summer Glory. We still have Conquer Kissimmee. We still have Havoc and Hayes. We have Breakout. We have so many shows. Rumble in the Jungle. Too many to name. It is going to be a month that you have to be a CCW fan. And if you aren't, you're probably going to become one, because it's just going to absorb everybody. It's just an unbelievable celebration of pro wrestling. These guys are going to go out there. They're going to feel it. They're going to put it all on the line. Axel, we have gone through every match. It's been an unbelievable show. Let's wrap it up, my friend.
That's right. And you can get all the lowdown on all the action that's going down by following us on our socials, whether that be on Facebook, Twitter, or X. And Instagram at CCW Live TV. Follow us on our YouTube as well to catch up any of the action that you may have missed by not being able to join us in attendance. But you know what? It's never too late. But definitely catch up on all the archive that we have there on our YouTube channel. That's CCW Live Wrestling. And definitely get your tickets now for Bash at the Brew 43 at the Unbranded Brewing Company in Hialeah, Florida, for what's going to be an outstanding, historic Bash at the Brew. I know we have one more to go before Bash at the Brew at Unbranded Brewing Company comes to an end, but you definitely don't want to miss it out. Get your tickets at ccwrestlingfl.com. Thanks for joining us on another episode of CCW Insider on a Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on this random Tuesday, you guys. It's been cool for you guys taking time out of your day to come join us. But next week, we'll be back to our regular scheduling program of coming to you from Wednesday at 7 p.m. Had a little brain fart right there for a quick second. But Wednesday next week at 7 p.m. here at CCW Insider. Who will our guest be? I don't know. You will have to stay tuned and find out. We have great matches to break down for Conquer, Kissimmee, and Havoc and Hayes in Kissimmee and in Tampa, respectively. So thank you so much for joining us this episode. We're going to sign off. Xenia, thank you for joining us and providing your insight. And Tyler, it's always been a pleasure, my man, doing this with you week after week. Let's continue doing this more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Xenia, you're the best. Thank you for joining us on the panel.
The best.
Hey, and thank you, Unbranded. One last time. Thank you, Unbranded.
Yes, thank you, Unbranded. Thank you to everyone there. Yes.
We got some stuff cooking up for that last Bash to Brew here on Insider. We're going to have a big celebration. Unbranded Brewing Company has meant so much for CCW. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's touched so many people. It made me want to join this beautiful, crazy business. I love Unbranded Brewing Company. So many memories, and we're going to make even more. Thank you, guys. Join us there at Bash to the Brew 43. Let's go to that outro.
You have been watching